A man once woke up, and everyone in his life still recognized him, but he didn't recognize himself. He went to the same room, looked at the same face in the mirror, spoke to the same people, and nothing had changed, except one thing. Everything felt distant. His own voice sounded unfamiliar. His reactions felt delayed, like they belonged to someone else. Even the things he used to care about felt like they belonged to a different life. So he tried to fix it. He went back to the same routines, talked to the same people, did the same things that used to make him feel like himself. But it didn't work, because the problem wasn't outside, it was inside. Something had shifted without his permission, and the more he tried to go back, the more it felt wrong, like wearing clothes that no longer fit, no matter how much you try to adjust them. And one night, sitting alone, tired of trying to understand it, a realization came to him. What if I'm not losing myself? What if I'm being changed? And that thought was the beginning of everything, because what he didn't realize was this: the version of him he was trying to return to was already gone, quietly removed, not as a punishment, but as preparation. And what he was feeling was not confusion. It was the moment Allah begins rewriting you from the inside out. Before your life even has time to catch up, Allah is erasing the old you, and you can feel it slipping away. There is a moment, usually when everything is quiet, when something inside you feels like it's fading, not loudly, not dramatically, just slowly disappearing. The way you used to think, the way you used to react, the version of you that once felt solid, now feels unstable. And it confuses you, because you didn't choose this. You didn't wake up one day and decide to change. It feels like it's happening to you. Listen carefully. What you are feeling is not you breaking. It is you being unmade. And being unmade is not destruction. It is preparation. Because the version of you that was built from habits, fears, expectations, and attachments cannot carry what Allah is preparing for you. So He begins quietly. He loosens your attachment to how you used to think. He softens your reaction to things that once controlled you. He creates distance between you and the identity you once protected, and you feel it. You feel less certain, less reactive, less connected to who you thought you were, and that feels scary, because your mind wants stability. It wants something to hold on to. But Allah is teaching you something deeper, that your true stability is not in who you were, but in who He is guiding you to become. So this discomfort, this unfamiliar feeling, is not a sign of loss. It is a sign that something greater is being written, even if you cannot see it yet. This detachment is not numbness. Allah is emptying your heart for something greater. There is a silence growing inside you, not the peaceful kind you expected, but a strange quiet. Things that once excited you don't reach you the same way. Conversations that once pulled you in now feel distant. Even moments that should make you happy feel muted, and you start to wonder, what is wrong with me? Why don't I feel the same anymore? You think you are becoming cold. You think something inside you is shutting down. But look deeper. You are not becoming numb. You are being emptied. There is a difference. Numbness is when the heart stops feeling. But what you are experiencing is when the heart is being cleansed. Allah is gently removing the weight you didn't even realize you were carrying. Attachments, expectations, dependencies on people, outcomes, and feelings. things you thought you needed to feel okay. And now, one by one, they are losing their hold on you. And because you were used to that intensity, this new quiet feels like emptiness. But it is not emptiness. It is space. Space that is being created inside your heart. Because a heart filled with everything has no room for what truly matters. So Allah clears it, slowly, carefully, not all at once, because you wouldn't be able to handle it. He loosens your grip, without you even noticing at first, until one day, you realize you don't feel the same attachment anymore. And that realization feels strange, almost uncomfortable, because you are no longer controlled by what once controlled you, but you are also not yet anchored in something higher. So you feel in between, and that in-between space feels like emptiness. But in reality, it is preparation, because before something greater enters your heart, everything else must make room for it. And what Allah places in a purified heart is not temporary. It is something deeper, something calmer, something that does not shake with every change in life. So do not fear this detachment. Do not rush to fill this silence with distractions. Do not run back to what once filled you, just to feel something again, because this quiet is where your heart is being prepared. And what is coming after this will not just make you feel again, it will make you feel in a way you have never experienced before. You feel lost because your false identity is collapsing. There are moments now where you stop and ask yourself, who am I becoming? And the strange part is, you don't have a clear answer anymore. Before, you did. You knew how to describe yourself. You knew what you liked. You knew how you would react in most situations. There was a sense of certainty, a structure, something stable you could hold on to and say, this is me. But now, that structure is breaking. The things that once defined you feel distant. The roles you played feel heavy. Even your own thoughts don't sound as convincing as they used to. And that creates a deep discomfort, because the human mind depends on identity. It wants labels, it wants clarity, it wants something solid to stand on. So when that begins to collapse, you feel lost, not physically, but internally, like you're standing in your own life, without knowing where you belong in it anymore. And that feeling is one of the most unsettling experiences a person can go through. But listen carefully. You are not losing yourself. You are losing the version of yourself that was built on things that were never meant to define you forever. Think about it. How much of who you were was shaped by people around you, by what you were taught, by what you went through? You adapted. You built an identity to survive, to fit in, to move through life. And, over time, you started believing that identity was your true self. But now, Allah is removing those layers, slowly, not all at once. Because if everything was stripped away instantly, it would overwhelm you. So He allows the cracks to form gradually. He lets you feel the instability, so you begin to question. So you begin to see. And that is why your old identity feels like it's collapsing, because it was never meant to be permanent. But here is the difficult part. When something false is removed, truth does not always appear immediately. There is a gap, a space where you feel like nothing. No clear identity, no strong direction, no familiar sense of self. And your instinct is to escape that feeling, to rebuild the old version, to go back to what felt certain, even if it was limiting you. But this is where most people go wrong. They mistake discomfort for danger. So they run back to old habits, back to old mindsets, back to a version of themselves that no longer fits. And every time they do that, they delay what Allah is trying to reveal, because this stage you are in is not meant to be escaped. It is meant to be walked through, even if it feels unclear, even if it feels slow, even if it feels like you are losing everything you thought you were, because what is being removed is not your truth. It is everything that was covering it. And when those layers finally fall, you will not feel lost anymore. You will feel aligned. But before alignment comes, there must be unraveling. And right now, you are in that unraveling. Allah is reprogramming what your heart desires without asking you. There is a shift happening inside you, and it is quiet but undeniable. The things that once pulled you don't pull you the same way anymore. What used to excite you now feels ordinary. What used to consume your thoughts now barely stays in your mind. Even the things you once chased so hard feel strangely distant, and you notice it. You try to go back, to feel the same way again, but you can't. And that confuses you, because you didn't decide this. You didn't sit down and say, I don't want this anymore. It just faded. Listen carefully. This is not loss of desire. This is transformation of desire. Allah is changing what your heart responds to, not through force, not through pressure, but through subtle shifts. Deep within you, He is removing the emotional charge from things that once controlled you. So, what once felt urgent now feels optional. What once felt necessary now feels replaceable. And at the same time, there is something new, not fully clear yet, but you feel it, a pull towards something quieter, deeper, more meaningful. Maybe you find yourself thinking more, reflecting more, seeking something you cannot fully explain, and that can feel uncomfortable because your external life has not caught up yet. Your environment may still be the same. The people around you may still expect the same version of you, but internally, you are not aligned with that version anymore, so you feel out of place, like you are moving in a direction while everything around you stays still, and that creates tension, because part of you wants to hold on to what is familiar, but another part of you cannot go back, and that tension is the sign of change. Allah is recalibrating your heart so that what once distracted you no longer satisfies you, and what truly matters begins to rise above everything else. But here is what makes this stage difficult. Clarity does not come immediately. You feel the shift before you understand it. You feel the change before you can explain it. So it feels like confusion, like something is off. But in reality, something is aligning. Your heart is being tuned to a different frequency, one that is not driven by impulse, not controlled by temporary desires, but guided towards something higher. And because this process is happening internally, no one else sees it. They still see the old you, but you feel the difference. And that difference is the beginning of a new direction. So do not fight it. Do not force yourself to feel what you used to feel. Do not chase what no longer pulls you, because if Allah removed the desire from your heart, it is because it no longer belongs in your path. And what He replaces it with will not just satisfy you temporarily, it will anchor you deeply, in a way your old desires never could. The loneliness you feel is divine separation, not abandonment. There is a distance now, And you feel it, not just from people, but from everything that once felt normal. You sit in conversations, but your heart is not fully there. You are around people, but something inside you feels separate. Even in moments that should feel full, you feel a quiet emptiness. And it confuses you, because nothing on the outside has really changed. The same people are there. The same environment surrounds you. The same routines still exist. But inside, something is different. And that difference feels like loneliness. A deep kind of loneliness. The kind that doesn't go away even when you are not alone. And you start to question it. Why do I feel like this? Why do I feel disconnected from everything? Did I lose something? Or did something leave me? Listen carefully. You were not abandoned. You were separated. There is a difference. Abandonment feels like being left without purpose. But separation is being moved with purpose. Allah is pulling you away. Not always physically, but internally. He is creating a space between you and what once surrounded you. Not because those things are always bad, but because they cannot carry you into who you are becoming. So the connection weakens, the emotional attachment fades, and what once felt natural now feels distant. And that creates loneliness, because your heart is no longer fully tied to the old, but it has not yet fully connected to the new. So you exist in between, and that in between feels empty. But look deeper. This is not emptiness. This is isolation for elevation. Because before Allah strengthens your connection with Him, He reduces your dependence on everything else. And that process feels like loss, because you are used to filling your heart with people, noise, distraction, and constant interaction. Now, you are being brought into stillness, into quiet, into a space where it is just you and your thoughts and your qalb. And that space can feel uncomfortable because there is nothing to distract you anymore, nothing to escape into, just you. And that is where most people run. They go back to noise, back to distractions, back to anything that fills the silence. Because silence exposes what is inside. But what if this silence is where your connection with Allah deepens? What if this loneliness is actually an invitation to sit with yourself, to understand what is happening inside you, to build a relationship, not with people, but with your Creator? Because when everything else becomes distant, Allah becomes closer, but only if you turn toward Him instead of away from the feeling. So do not rush to escape this loneliness. Do not try to fill it with anything temporary. Sit in it, even if it feels heavy, even if it feels unfamiliar, because this separation is not meant to break you. It is meant to bring you somewhere deeper, somewhere real, somewhere you would have never reached if everything around you stayed the same. Everything you once depended on is breaking, so you turn only to Allah. There was a time when you had things you leaned on, not always consciously, but they were there. People who made you feel stable, habits that gave you comfort, distractions that helped you escape when things felt heavy, and you trusted them. Maybe not completely, but enough to feel grounded, enough to feel like you had something to hold on to. But now, that feeling is slipping. The things you relied on don't hold you the same way anymore. People change or feel distant. Habits don't satisfy you like before. Even distractions feel empty after a while, and it leaves you in a strange place, because what once gave you stability now feels unreliable. And that creates a quiet panic inside you, because the heart wants something to depend on. It wants something constant, something it can lean into when everything feels uncertain. So, when those supports begin to weaken, it feels like everything is falling apart. But look deeper. It is not falling apart. It is being dismantled. Carefully, intentionally, because what you were depending on was never meant to carry the weight of your heart forever. People are limited. Habits are temporary. Distractions are fragile. And if your heart remains attached to them, it will always feel unstable. So Allah begins to loosen your grip, not all at once, because that would break you. But gradually, He makes what you relied on feel less reliable. So you begin to see. So you begin to question. So you begin to realize that your stability was built on things that could never truly hold you. And this is the painful part, because it feels like loss. It feels like something is being taken away. But in reality, you are being redirected from what is temporary to what is permanent, from what changes to the one who never changes. Because there is a kind of reliance that does not shake, a kind of dependence that does not collapse when people leave or circumstances change, and that is reliance on Allah. But you cannot fully turn toward Him while your heart is still holding tightly to everything else. So He weakens those attachments, not to leave you empty, but to make you look upward, to make you seek something deeper, to make you realize that what you truly need is not found in what you used to depend on. And this is where the shift begins. Slowly, your heart starts turning, not because you forced it, but because everything else stopped working. You begin to call on Allah, not just in words, but in need. You begin to feel your dependence on Him, not as an idea, but as a reality. And that is a different kind of strength, a quiet strength, because now your heart is no longer scattered across temporary things. It is being gathered towards something higher. So, if everything around you feels like it is breaking, do not panic. Do not rush to rebuild what is being taken apart, because sometimes what feels like everything collapsing is actually everything aligning, so that your heart finally learns where it truly belongs. You are in the most dangerous stage, where you can either trust or turn back. There is a moment in this journey where everything becomes quiet but unclear. You are no longer who you used to be. That version feels distant now. Its habits feel heavy. Its desires don't pull you the same way anymore. But at the same time, you are not fully who you are becoming either. There is no clear identity yet, no solid direction, no strong sense of, this is me now. You are in between. And this in-between space is the most fragile stage of all, because nothing feels stable. Your past doesn't fit anymore. Your future isn't clear yet. And your present feels uncertain. And this uncertainty creates a quiet tension inside you, a discomfort that keeps asking, where am I going? What am I supposed to do now? Why does everything feel so unclear? And in this stage, a decision begins to form, not loudly, not in one dramatic moment, but slowly, quietly, inside your heart. You either choose to trust or you choose to return. To trust means you stay in this unfamiliar space, even when it feels uncomfortable, even when nothing makes sense, even when you cannot see what is ahead. You accept that Allah is doing something, even if you don't understand it yet. And that kind of trust is not easy, because it requires you to let go of control, to stop needing immediate answers, to walk forward without clarity. But the other option is to turn back, and turning back feels easier. You return to old habits, old distractions, old attachments. You rebuild the version of yourself that felt familiar. And for a moment, it feels comforting. It feels stable again. But deep inside, you will feel it, that quiet awareness, that you went back to something that no longer fits you. And that creates a different kind of heaviness. Because once you have seen beyond a version of yourself, you cannot fully live inside it again. So you stay stuck, not moving forward, but no longer at peace where you returned. And that is why this stage is dangerous, because it determines your direction, not just temporarily, but deeply. So, what do? You stay. You remain in the process. You allow the uncertainty without rushing to escape it. You trust, even when your mind keeps asking questions, because what feels unclear now will not remain unclear forever. Clarity comes, but it comes after trust. Direction appears, but it appears after patience. And identity forms, but it forms after everything false has been removed. Right now, you are being shaped in a way you cannot fully see, and that is why it feels like nothing is happening. But something is happening, something deep, something real, something that does not need to rush. So do not interrupt it. Do not run from it. Do not go back just because it feels easier. Because this stage, this uncomfortable, uncertain, quiet stage, is where your real transformation is decided. And if you stay, if you trust, if you allow Allah to complete what He has started, you will not just feel like yourself again. You will become someone your old self would not even recognize. And this time, that will not feel confusing. It will feel right. Ya Allah, when I no longer recognize myself, let me recognize you. Ya Allah, as you erase what I used to be, do not leave my heart empty. Fill it with your light, your truth, and your nearness. When I feel lost, anchor me in your guidance. When everything fades, make your presence enough for me. Ya Rab, do not let me run back to what you are saving me from. Complete what you have begun within me, and make this transformation bring me closer to you, not further away. Amen.